Actors, we've all got issues, so let's talk about them. I'm Juan Ayala, and welcome to Actors with Issues. Each week, we bring you interviews with actors from across TV, film, and Broadway, taking many deep dives into their careers and getting into the successes, the struggles, and of course, the issues that they face as actors. That's enough about us. Let's dive into the episode. Today's guest is an actor you know best from Marvel's Disney Plus series She-Hulk, attorney at law as Josh, the guy that you were hoping would be just the right guy, and he sadly was not. We'll get into it in a bit, but please welcome to the stage Trevor Salter. Trevor, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's fun to be here.
So before we start with our interviews, we always start with a rapid fire game called Getting to Know You. Just throw a few questions your way. Firstly, coffee or tea?
Coffee, but I drink it for the effect, not the taste.
Film or TV?
TV.
Drama or comedy?
Ooh, I love both. If I have to pick, comedy.
Hero or villain?
Hero.
New York or LA?
New York, but I'm from San Diego, but New York.
Stage acting or screen acting?
Scream.
What actress had the biggest influence on you?
Actress. Probably Catherine Hahn. Catherine Hahn is
Good choice.
I'm a huge admirer. Huge admirer. She's incredible in everything, and she just has this innate ability to transform into whatever she is, but it doesn't feel put on, and her range is insane.
Yeah, totally agree. And a fellow MCU actor as well.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I mean, just on that show alone, just like every episode was something completely different. She's phenomenal. I love her.
Yeah, she's a special actress for sure.
Mhm. What is the last show that you binge watched?
Last show that I binge watched. Um, gosh, there's just so much content out right now, and I feel like me and my fiance always switch around. Probably we're watching season 3 of The Boys. Oh, Severance. Severance we binge watched.
Oh, good job.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your first non-acting job?
Oh my God. I was a I was a costumed character at children's birthday parties, and name any character, I was it. Elmo, Woody, Buzz, Big Bird, everything.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, you know what?
Batman, Paw Patrol, Darth Vader, you name it. Unlicensed, but we.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
If you could have dinner with any actor, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh, wow, that's a great question. Um, Man, gosh, I probably would. You know, I'm gonna put this out there because I hope to meet him one day. I'm gonna say Joe Coy. Like
Yeah.
he's more a comedian, but he's done Easter Sunday, and he's such a touchstone Filipino.
Mm.
He's just like he is the guy right now, and we all look up to him. And I feel like I'd love to meet him and chat with him and eat on some amazing Filipino food.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What movie never fails to make you laugh?
Hmm. Anchorman.
And what movie never fails to make you cry?
Up. First 15 minutes are just so brutal, man.
Yeah.
Just I went on a when I was a kid, I was like in high school when it came out. I went on a date with this girl, and we were watching it in 3D, and I'm like sobbing, and she was like, "Were you crying?" And I was like, "No, I wasn't." Yeah.
And given that it is spooky season, what is your favorite scary movie?
Hereditary. Hereditary is
Hmm.
just one that just sticks with me.
That is a
Yeah.
beyond scary. That is mortifying. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit mortifying, and just so well done. I
Yeah.
like Ari Aster a lot.
And lastly, describe your most memorable audition in 3 words. And memorable can be good or bad. So it's up to you.
Ooh, forgot the words.
Happens to all of us.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah. Given it's 3 words, I've heard like ripped my pants. I've heard
Oh,
phone went off and just all the,
oh, that's a
producer
bad one.
producer took a call. Just,
Oh, ooh, that's painful. Yeah,
yeah, at the table or something, so many different things.
yeah. Wow. Well, okay, then forgot the words and
Wi-Fi
something
went
else.
out. Just
Oh, that's yeah. that's a post-COVID one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we know, obviously, no two actors' journeys are alike. So, I'm curious, when did you first become involved in the arts, and then at what point did you decide, like, I want to do this, like, all in full time, as an pursue this on a career level?
Yeah, as actors, we get asked this question a lot, and
Mm.
most people can point to like I was watching Annie and I fell in love. I didn't really have. I just as a kid, I was always what I can really point to is my mom said that when I was a child, as soon as I could talk, I was like acting out stories with my toys, and I would do these different voices and different accents, and this was like I was a toddler, and so she kind of knew right away that I should perform at some level. And in kindergarten, I got cast as the lion in Wizard of Oz for a school-wide play, and people were looking, "Who's this little 5-year-old that's the lion?" But I had a great time, and so I was always doing theater here and there. Nothing community theater, just in school. I would do like skits at talent shows, and then in high school, I was doing musicals and plays, and senior year rolls around and the college counselor's like, what do you want to pursue? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe acting. It really was
Mm.
just like, I don't really like anything else. I like sports, but I know I'm not going to be a professional volleyball player. So I applied to a bunch of schools, got into my dream school, NYU, and it's I just now I'm here. I don't know, it's
Mm.
strange. I just rolled along with it, but I think I was always meant to do this.
Yeah. As they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, keep trying to ride it. Well, a long way to go still, but hopefully this book will be meaty.
Mm. And I saw that when we were still very much sort of in this weird limbo as actors, that you were in the ABC Discovers showcase.
Yes,
So
yeah.
what was that whole experience like for you? Because I know that for a lot of folks, uh, being involved in those types of showcases, especially during COVID, felt like a saving grace because like we were all starting to go a little crazy. Lord knows a lot of us did, but yeah, what was that
Gosh,
whole experience like for you?
yeah, it was amazing. It's funny because up until that point, I'd been working in theater a lot and doing musicals, but I was never a musical theater actor, so I wasn't always so happy with my trajectory. And then at the end of 2019, I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on film and TV. And then I was forced to because of the shutdown. And luckily enough, I got into the showcase, and it was like a crash course in film and TV acting, screen acting. I was able to get amazing rep out of it. Um, and now I'm in a place where I'm consistently getting some really solid, awesome auditions that I was not getting before I got this
Mm.
showcase. So I'm very thankful to Marcy Phillips and ABC, the whole ABC casting team. They're special people.
Yeah, I've only ever heard like, incredible things about people who come out of those types of showcases. I've interviewed a good handful of people who, had like no bookings or couldn't even get a rep. They did the showcase and that really like changed
Oh
their trajectory.
yeah, it opened the floodgates. I mean, it was doors that I didn't even know existed opened up,
Mm.
and it's been I'm very thankful for it for sure, especially in 2020. It was like it gave me something to do.
Yeah. And fast forward to She-Hulk. So I know with Marvel, you often get dummy sides. You have little to
Yep.
no idea what the character is, what the hell the project is.
Yeah.
I got an audition years ago, or late 2020, I think. I still don't know what it was for. I think it was for Falcon and Winter Soldier for Danny Ramirez's character. It
Huh?
was just called Driver, and he's like the military driver, so I
Yeah.
kind of figured
Oh,
that's what it
okay.
was. But a scene that was not in the show has nothing to do. It's just literally just make a choice. You've got 10 lines, make a choice, and that's it. But yeah, what was that whole experience like for you? I'm sure it was
I mean, you
very similar.
summed it up. It was literally that. I actually went out originally for the role that ended up being the doctor. For those of you that watch listening that watch She-Hulk, it's the first guy that she goes out with. Didn't get it, and then a few months later, I get another audition for it, and it's like my character's name is Josh. It was Eric. Breakdown. 20s to 30s, handsome, nice guy. And I got it at like 5 p.m. Wednesday. It was due Thursday the next morning. I was like, well, all right, because I just got to be me. That's really all it was. I just did myself, and thankfully they liked it. I had no idea what kind of impact Josh was gonna have.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna have some, but the magnitude is it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, I knew nothing about the project. We my reps had suspected it was She-Hulk, but we weren't so sure. No, they were sure. But yeah, there was like they give you nothing. They give you really
Yeah.
nothing. So it really was. Thankfully, they liked me.
And given that it was Marvel, did you feel that there was some like weight and pressure, or did you really just like try and get rid of all of that and just focus on the work?
Not at all. I mean, because it was such a fast turnaround, and because the breakdown was so minimal, I was like, I'm just gonna do this and be done. And it's so funny because so many other auditions I've like prepped for and really try to create depth of character. And this one, I was just like, let's just do it. Let's get it done. And kind of taught me like sometimes your first instinct is the best instinct. You know,
Mm.
sometimes the best audition is just what you feel comes out of you initially, instead of sometimes all the work that you do can get in the way. It's helpful so a lot of times too, but sometimes you just got to go with what's here. Yeah.
And once you had booked, like what was going through your mind? Did you like, were you like nervous? Were you excited? Was it a bit of both? Like looking
Yeah,
forward to going on set?
a bit of both. A new Valia, our director, and Jessica Gao, the creator, they made me feel so comfortable in my audition that I really was not. I was nervous as anyone would be, but stepping on a set, I really was not nervous because they just created an environment that was very welcoming and loving. And Tatiana is amazing and very down to earth. Um, I tried not to think about the enormity of all of this, and I just try to zero in on just being. I really wasn't even thinking about being Josh that much. In some moments I was thinking about the layering of, the things that were the things that he ends up doing. I'm thinking about that. But for the most part, I was like, all I got to do really is let the best parts of myself come through. And once I gave myself that permission, things became very easy. That's
And quick spoiler alert, if anyone has not caught up yet, this we're not gonna spoil the finale. We're not. I haven't watched it. I got screeners, but I would rather watch it like in real time.
yeah.
Uh, but given what your character does do and what we find out in the most recent episode, um, when was it that you found out that he took that turn? Did you know from the audition, or maybe like during the session, that there was going to be a turn, or was it really just like the nice guy, and then you found out when reading the script?
They had mentioned in my callback, there was some sort of twist. They did not tell me what it was.
Mm.
And then when I got to shoot, or when I flew to Atlanta, I was able to read some of the script. And when I started to learn what he was doing, I was like, this guy is really shit. Can I say that? Can I say shitty?
Absolutely.
This guy is really shit. He's like, he's not even like a cool villain. He's just a really bad guy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I've been preparing for all of the Josh hate, and I think it's very deserved. He's a terrible person. I'm not surprised. They actually made me laugh. Sometimes I'll look at Twitter, and recently there was a 4-panel picture of a dog pooping, and I was the poop. No, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, Thankfully, no one's given me any personal threats. That's what I was more worried about. But I
Right.
think all of the Josh hate is like so deserved. He's a terrible person, and all my homies hate Josh as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when watching it, we were like, "There is supposed to be Endgame. Like, come on, it was supposed to be
I,
them." So given that Marvel is sort of like this huge like mega franchise, is there any other like genre that you haven't done yet, or some other sort of franchise or universe, as they're called these days, that you like have some desires to join, or do you want to stick more to like grounded drama and things like that?
gosh, I really don't know. Honestly, I'll go wherever the work takes me.
Mm.
Um, to sort of give a half-hearted answer, I think that there's any sort of genre that I would love to be in a network comedy. That's really
Mm.
the big if I could be in something like The Office that gives you work for 10 years and and changes the landscape of American comedy. That would be incredible.
Right.
So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me. But in terms of franchises, nothing in particular. Wherever the work takes me is where I go.
And given that our show is called Actors with Issues, we do like to sort of shed some light on things for our audience of young actors and artists. So, what comes to mind as an issue or an obstacle that you've had to deal with, and maybe still are, that you can sort of shed some light on?
You know, I try to focus on the issues that are internal. I feel like there's so much external things at play against you as an actor that you cannot control that I try to let those be. And I just focus on the things inside of me that I feel like I need to work on. And the big thing is it's always the devil on the shoulder, the negative
Mm,
thoughts that come in when the downtime when I'm not working, or, if I'm on set and I don't feel like I'm bringing my best work that day. The negative voice can be so much louder than the cheerleader voice. I
mm,
think I think actors are conditioned that way. And for me, it's a daily talk, because it's just like the fears and the insecurities that each of us have, they're so loud sometimes. Um, my daily work, honestly, is to just remind myself that I have value, that I'm a person with a voice that has meaning and significance in this world, and my job is to share that. My job is to not become small and keep things to myself and um, apologize for my existence. My job is to be myself and share myself, because that's where the best work comes from, is when actors are sharing the things that can be scary,
mm.
all this stuff that is buzzing and flittering around in here that we don't know how the rest of the world is going to react to it. That's the stuff that is engaging for an audience to see. That's what's inspiring. So it's the daily managing of fears and insecurities that each of us have. It doesn't matter what level of in your career you are, like, it exists.
It's so interesting hearing like you said, actors of different levels really going through those same things. One of the first sort of like bigger name actors that I got to interview was this Tony Award winning actress, Patina Miller.
Mm.
And she had said that even though she's like series regular she's on Madam Secretary for like 5 seasons, she has her own show now. She's like number one on the call sheet for like 2 seasons now. And she still says that she still has that sort of thing. Like, what if the show gets canceled? What am I going to do next? What's on the horizon? Like, she is off of a show and thinks that, or is still thinking like, what's next? I gotta stay busy. Like, it's crazy how often that happens. It's not just for us who are vying for that series regular role or for that lead in a film or something. It's really everybody.
Yeah, it's the
Lightning.
instability.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's nice to like know that, I know I'm not the only one going through that, and to
Mm,
hear, people from higher levels that are going through that too. It makes you feel seen, and it makes you feel okay to be human. Like, I
mm,
think sometimes I feel like I need to be this superhero that can do all these different things and be all these different kinds of things for people, but really, it, it's just filling out the body that I live in, you
mm,
know, and then letting that emanate out. That is really the joy that we want to see on screen, on stage.
mm. And similarly, what comes to mind as something that you know now, whether it's about acting or show business or anything that you wish you'd learned a bit earlier on?
Hmm. I wish that the importance of treating auditioning as a different skill was imparted on me much younger. When you're in acting school, I'm sure you can relate to this. Like, you do all this scene work on these intense plays, and of course that's valuable. Um, but I wasn't really taught the art of auditioning. And you can have all this amazing work and scenes and understand what's going on in the script, but if you don't know how to audition, which is a different skill than being on set, than being on stage,
Mm,
you'll never be able to do that scene work that you've been working on, that deep, all the deep dramas or the whatever. Um, so when I started treating auditioning as its own thing, auditioning is, yes, you are telling the story, but you're also selling yourself. There's a business aspect to it. You're not just auditioning for this role, this show. You are auditioning to get the next audition. You're auditioning to create a relationship with this casting director, so they'll get you the next audition. Because the reality is, only one person is going to get this job, so the odds are heavily stacked against each of us. Um, so the goal really for me is not to get the, of course, it's to get the job, but when I'm auditioning, it's about how can I make an impression on the people that are viewing my tapes, the people that are in the room with me, so that they'll remember me for the next thing, because eventually the right thing will come along.
Yeah. One of the most helpful books I think out there is Jenna Fisher's book, The Actor's
Mm,
Life, A Survival
I
Guide.
haven't read it yet. Yeah.
Yeah. And she talks about how she tells every actor, like any audition, no matter if it's a two-line co-star or for a pilot, create a consistent body of work so that the casting team, they all know they were great, let's call them in for this. Like I know so many folks who have booked like guest stars off of tapes from previous auditions because they've been
Uh,
in so many times. They're like, oh, they're perfect for this, let's just send in that other tape they did. and
yeah.
and it's great to hear that when those sort of success stories happen, because it's like it gives you motivation to just keep going, keep chugging along. Don't brush off the 3 line audition just because it's 3 lines. You've got to keep it consistent. You really want to like put in, I don't want to say like put in your all, every bit of energy you have, but just keep it consistent.
What that brings to mind for me is I haven't read Jenna Fisher's book. I'd love to. I love The Office. It's one I mentioned that earlier. I read Bob Odenkirk's biography recently, and he talks about, he when he got Better Call Saul, he wasn't a dramatic actor. He came up through
Yeah.
sketch and Second City, and he was like, so with when I approach, he said something like, when I approach Better Call Saul, I just treated every line like it was the most important line in the world. And I feel like auditioning, I try to bring that same mentality to it, because then things just pop more.
Mm.
You know, you only have a certain amount of lines to make an impression, and if you treat every single one with importance, it becomes more full.
Mm. Yeah, completely agree. And I think a tip for actors that just came to mind as well, but a tip for actors, and a great coach who I worked with at Stella Adder told me this, but when your character is like an expert in the field, which if you are an actor in New York, that's going to be most of your auditions, whether you're like a legal expert,
Yeah,
medical,
that's right.
forensics, anything, any
Out there.
procedural, there's like
Yeah.
12 experts per episode. Um, you have to make sure you sound like an expert.
Mm,
Don't flub over, like they know these terms and these medication names and all that like the back of their hand. So it has to, like rapid fire. It's like you have to get like those tiny things, like nail them down. It's really hard.
yeah, 100%. And I feel like for me, it's Chicago Med. I've gotten so many Chicago Med auditions, and
Yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, this is a speech warm up. Just trying to get these medicines out of my mouth. It's impossible. And then make it sound like you know what you're talking about. Yeah, I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So before we go, we always wrap up with a non-rapid fire game called Now That We Know You, so the pressure's off. Uh, fill in the blank. If I weren't working in the arts, I'd be.
A sports commentator.
Uh, would you want to play one? I'm curious.
Yeah, for
Like on
sure.
the morning show, something like that. They had
Yeah.
a sports guy.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, it's wild, man. I mean, I know I'm not the only person that has this experience, but I'll be watching with, I feel really cool because my fiance watches with me, and I'll say something about what just happened in the game, and then the announcer will say like something very similar, and she was like, "You could be doing this." And I'm like, I should be doing this. Um, yeah,
What role have you had the most fun playing?
Josh, Josh, yeah,
Like what is it? A wolf in sheep's clothing. Just like
yeah.
I'm the guy. JK. Just kidding.
I mean, just watching my friends, and they're like, "Oh, Trevor, you were so great in episode 6. Like, it's so fun to watch you." And I'm like, "Yeah, just wait. It's not gonna. I don't know how proud you're gonna be after this." But
Right. What is the best advice you've ever gotten?
I I've worked with a lot of teachers, obviously, and I don't know why I said obviously. That's not obvious. Anyways, Heidi Marshall, she's an acting coach in New York City.
Mm,
Amazing person. She used to work in casting for a long time, so she has this very unique perspective. And speaking, going back to the whole audition thing that I was talking about, she was like, when you get an audition, somebody thinks you can do this, and it such a simple reframing, but it blew my mind because I realized I would step into these rooms, step into these auditions, apologizing, and I'd be like, "Oh, thank you so much for your time," trying to like get the lines right, not giving myself, but because I was so worried that I was taking their time.
mm,
Um, uh, you know, they want you to succeed. Casting wants you to succeed. Get to a callback. Directors, producers, they want you to succeed. So that reframing just opened things up for me, and it really allowed me to come into the room and take control and understand that when I'm in the audition room, it's my time, and I do whatever I can to take control of the room.
and similarly, what is the worst advice you've ever gotten?
Worst advice I've ever gotten. Nothing really comes to mind, but I will say in terms of like worst advice, this is the sort of advice that I would give another actor is that something that I've discovered along the way is to just trust your instincts. And it doesn't matter if you're in class or if you're working on set or you're getting advice from another person, just take what's useful to you because there's a lot of things that people say that is just from their POV and their thoughts. And of course, you have to respect the director's vision. That's one thing.
Mm,
Um, but if there are things being said to you from all different sides that are helpful, then use it. But if they're not helpful, you don't have to listen to it and you don't have to use it.
mm,
And oftentimes, I found that some of my best work has come from me just trusting what my gut is, and interpreting a note and taking it in a way that makes sense to me. So yeah, I can't think of my worst advice, but I can say that I do my best to filter advice that is helpful to me, and what's not, I dismiss it.
And lastly, in 10 words or less, what advice would you give to a young actor?
10 words or less. Um, don't need anyone's validation.
Mm,
Yeah. Um, that's really more for myself, like I still find my time subconscious, like, damn, I'm doing this because I want this person to think I'm a good actor. And that's never gonna help you.
mm, yeah.
So don't need anyone's validation. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Trevor, thank you so much for taking the time to
Yeah,
chat with
thanks,
us.
man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Social media, Instagram, where can our lovely fans find you?
At Trev Vibes. That's TrevVibes.
Awesome. And folks, you know the drill. You can find us on Instagram at Actors with Issues. Give me a follow at Juaniel Official, and you can find more of our show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts every Monday with bonus episodes on Thursday. But this week we have new episodes every friggin' day. So be sure to subscribe to get notified and make sure to watch the finale of She-Hulk Thursday, October 13th on Disney Plus. I'm Juaniala. This is Actors with Issues, and we'll see you next week.